Stocks our strategists feel are poised to deliver positive returns are featured now in their top stock picks of the week.
Hi, Shiraz Mian here with the Zacks top stock picks video. Joining me this week will be Brian Boland. Brian and I each have picked a stock. Let me just jump into my pick, and then we'll give Brian his turn. I have a couple of slides that I want to share with you about my pick, and the pick is Hibbett Sports. For those of you not familiar with Hibbett, Hibbett is a sporting retailer, primarily on the footwear side, but has a fairly large apparel inventory as well. About 1,200 stores, relatively smaller store format compared to Dick's. Relatively small town America, also compared to Dick's, and has a fairly unique, I want to say, and defendable business model that I believe holds them in a better position in this otherwise tough environment. We heard Nike come out with problematic results and guidance. We all know the retail environment isn't really as helpful and supportive as these players would like. But I strongly feel Hibbett, even though it has had a pretty strong run lately, is better positioned than most other retailers. So with that, let's look at how Hibbett has done on a trailing 12-month basis. And what I've done here is I've compared Hibbett, which is the down 2.4%, and this is obviously the past year. The green line is the S&P 500, and then the Zacks retail. For those of you familiar with our industry sector classifications, we do have a standalone retail sector. And then the red line is the industry, the retail and apparel, the apparel and footwear industry. And as you could see over this time period, trailing 12 months, Hibbett has lagged each of these three comparables. This is trailing 6 months. And you could see how divergent those performance comparisons are. Hibbett almost looks like a Tesla or a Meta in this showing, and the reason for that is that Hibbett has had a pretty tough last couple of years. In fact, its all-time high was in late 2021, around 100. And even though it's close to its 52-week high right now, it still remains below that high. And there's been a re-rating of the stock since the last two quarterly releases, particularly the one in November. The stock was up 10% on that release when they not only blew past the estimates, and you could see some of that here in this green arrow here. This is the late November release, and then the one prior to that as well. As you could see, the stock has made some pretty impressive gains. So it has had a good run-up, and I'm not recommending it as a momentum play, even though from this chart it would appear to belong in that category. What I am recommending it for is the improved earnings outlook, and I have highlighted this here. This light blue is the 2024 estimates, this brownish is the 2025, and as you could see, it has started turning around. This is 2023. It has started turning around, and if we look at history, like here, this is the 2021 line, the dark blue is the 2022, when the uptrend starts happening it's not that they had a big sale on some Nike shoes and they had great numbers and it's a one-trick pony. The trend then lasts for a while. There's a lot more durability uh, in the Hibbett earnings outlook than one would credit an operator of this size. By the way, they are about $800 million in market cap, so it's a pretty small player. I've put the Zacks ratings here. As you could see, Zacks ranked #1, strong buy. On a style basis, it has a value grade of A. Momentum is D. So I'm not recommending it as a momentum play, even though it has had an amazing run. And to that value score and value point, here's the forward 12-month PE. And as you could see, less than 8 times forward 12 months. This is a 5-year history. And you could see the median over this period is 8.3. This isn't obviously the low, which was somewhere during the COVID period. But it's hard to say that after this run up, the stock is expensive. I do concede that it has had a pretty impressive run. The next earnings release is in March, so it would make sense for someone to be a little wary and watch it. Though I'm pretty optimistic that the earnings outlook, as we signed the last 2 quarterly releases, is a more enduring trend. And as this beat and raise trend continues, I believe the stock market performance trend will follow and will also remain in place. So with that, I'll let Brian explain his pick.
Well, thank you, Shiraz, for that wonderful top stock pick of yours. I am Brian Boland, and I am the aggressive growth stock strategist here at Zacks, and I've got my top stock pick for the week. And let's get right to it, shall we? It is Stronghold Digital. This is a Bitcoin miner. So Stronghold Digital, as you can see here on the screen, it's SDIG is your ticker. This is Zacks rank #3. That's a hold. But we've got some big news coming, and I'll explain that in a moment. But let's go over our normal list of things. The A for growth and F for value. And as the aggressive growth stock strategist, that's the type of growth divergence that I love to see. I love to see a strong growth score and a weak value score, because that tells me right away I'm on the right path, because value investors and growth investors are inherently looking for different things from their stocks. So when I see something like that, I know that I'm on the right foot. All right, let's just take a quick look at this chart here. Dead water here for a very long time. Bitcoin suddenly emerges as like, oh my gosh, we're going to do this ETF. And the thing pops, and I say, wait for a pullback. And boy, have we got a pullback here. That's a good fit, nearly a 50% pullback down at the lows, but now heading back higher. Now, the word on the street is that the SEC is going to allow Bitcoin ETF. And supposedly that's going to happen tomorrow, January 10th, and then trading should begin on Thursday, January the 11th in these ETFs. Dozens of ETF providers have already registered for this. It's going to happen. And what's going to happen then is that a whole class of institutional investors are going to be buying in, and we can anticipate that Bitcoin's price will move significantly higher as a lot of dollars move into the space. So when we look at Stronghold Digital, this is a company that mines Bitcoin, generates more Bitcoin than it needs, but it'll sell most of what they mine and then use that for the cost of operations. But let's go into the numbers that we would normally look at, given the big investment thesis here. Are we beating the number? That's a solid big beat, especially when they're looking for a huge miss. Another big huge miss, but or a beat, but still losing money here. We missed that quarter, but we made this quarter, and we can see right here going from a loss of $2.40 to a loss of 5 cents. in the most recent quarter. That is just great to see, because what we have here is a stock that is going to turn the corner from losing money to making money. So what's going to happen in this next quarter? Well, estimates are sitting at 65 cents. Now, that's quite a boost from a 5-cent loss right there to 65 cents. So we're going to call it a big up. We don't have an estimate for the first quarter just yet. For last year, we're going to lose about $1.56. But this year, we're going to be positive, 8 cents. That's good. That's a good thing. It's not that big of a move. Well, I mean, it's a big move, but it is what it is, right? So here's the thing that keeps the growth investors super happy. Last year, revenue contraction, 21%. This year, 2024, we're going to grow 47%, 83 million to 122 million on the top line. All right, let's take a look at the valuation metrics, something that I love to see. Now, obviously, you're going from pennies to dollars here, so you're going to have a big multiple. We were losing money, and we're just making a few pennies now. 96 times forward earnings. That's a lot. All right, price to book. This is where your value guys should be jumping up and down. 0.89. So you're buying the company at a 10% discount to all the items that the company owns. And that's what happens sometimes. You can buy low, you can sell high. Margins are improving. Price to sales right at 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. It's not a pretty chart. This thing was $250 when it came out, and boy, oh boy, did it just cascade lower. Holding on for dear life down here, but now we have this Bitcoin thing coming in, this ETF. That is great. Then later down the road, we have the halving of Bitcoin. Halving, it's going to be twice as hard to mine. The value generally at least doubles, maybe even triples on the last halving of Bitcoin. So we're looking for 2 major catalysts for this name. It's my top stock pick for the week. It's Stronghold Digital. Be sure to go to Zacks.com/promo to check out all of our latest promotions.